3 systems, 1 trap, the lure of safety. By the end of this video, you'll understand how 3 systems work together to create what appears to be utopia, but functions as dystopia. You'll see how even those implementing these systems are deceived into thinking they're helping, and you'll learn the specific truths they're forbidden from revealing. Most importantly, you'll recognize the trap before it's too late. The Obsidian Blueprint. Imagine a system that tracks your daily movements, records your social interactions, and assigns scores based on your compliance with certain behaviors. Obsidian presents itself as a tool for building safer communities through positive reinforcement. The public platform shows colorful interfaces, achievement badges, and rewards for what it calls community-minded behavior. You might earn points for recycling properly, attending approved community events, or maintaining positive social media engagement. The surface mechanics appear designed to encourage civic responsibility and social harmony. What users don't see is the restricted back-end environment accessible only through special banking and government credentials. This hidden layer contains detailed behavioral analytics, relationship mapping tools, and predictive compliance modeling. While the public sees a simple point system, authorized operators can track genetic connections between citizens, monitor emotional states through voice analysis, and predict future behavior patterns with alarming accuracy. The system doesn't just track what you do, it attempts to predict what you might do under various circumstances. Recent leaks from training facilities show how operators learn to manage this dual-layered system. Trainees practice scenarios where they must maintain the public-friendly facade while utilising the full control capabilities internally. They work with simulated populations, learning to implement social pressure through the public point system while simultaneously monitoring dissent through the hidden surveillance tools. These training modules emphasise maintaining the narrative of voluntary participation while systematically eliminating genuine choice. Many of the technicians and administrators working with Obsidian genuinely believe they're creating a better society. They focus on the reduced crime statistics in trial regions and the apparent public enthusiasm for the reward system. These operators are encouraged to discuss the benefits of community cooperation and shared values, but they receive strict training to never mention the predictive algorithms, the genetic tracking, or the permanent nature of the digital profiles being created. This creates a class of what we might call technical sovereigns, people who implement control systems while convincing themselves they're freedom advocates. They see themselves as builders of a new social contract rather than architects of surveillance. They justify their work by focusing on the surface level benefits while the underlying mechanisms remain deliberately obscured from their full understanding. Their access to information is carefully compartmentalized to maintain this illusion of positive purpose. The reality is that Obsidian functions as a digital discipline system designed for permanent surveillance. Every interaction feeds into a permanent record that determines your access to resources, movement permissions, and social opportunities. The social credit aspect merely serves as the attractive packaging for a system of behavioural control that grows more sophisticated with each update. This technological foundation enables the other systems we'll examine next. The USDR temptation. How could global sustainability goals possibly conceal a darker purpose? Agenda 2030 presents itself as a blueprint for human progress through its 17 Sustainable Development Goals. These include eliminating poverty, ensuring clean water access, and creating sustainable cities. The language focuses on cooperation between nations and creating equitable systems for all people. The public materials show colourful infographics and inspiring speeches about collective action for a better future. Nearly every government and major corporation has publicly endorsed these objectives, creating a global consensus that these are worthwhile goals worth pursuing. What remains unmentioned in the public-facing materials are the specific implementation mechanisms that make these goals achievable. The sustainability targets require unprecedented levels of data collection, resource monitoring, and behaviour tracking. To achieve zero hunger, the system must monitor global food production and distribution patterns. To create sustainable cities, it must track individual energy consumption and transportation habits. The technological requirements for achieving these goals align perfectly with the surveillance capabilities of systems like Obsidian. These are real leaked photos of the Obsidian software that have been leaked. The people working on Agenda 2030 projects typically believe they're contributing to humanitarian efforts. Environmental scientists develop carbon tracking systems that monitor individual consumption patterns. Urban planners design smart cities that optimize resource distribution through constant surveillance. Public health officials create biometric monitoring systems to track wellness indicators across populations. These professionals focus on the positive outcomes: reduce pollution, efficient resource allocation, improve public health, while the underlying control infrastructure remains outside their focus. The sustainability narrative provides moral justification for increasingly intrusive systems. When people question why their energy consumption must be monitored around the clock, the answer involves climate change prevention. When they wonder why their food purchases must be tracked, the explanation involves eliminating waste and ensuring equitable distribution. The noble objectives create a powerful psychological shield against criticism of the methods being employed. This allows the recruitment of idealistic professionals who would normally oppose surveillance systems but believe they're working toward greater goods. The framework also creates social pressure against dissent. Those who question the implementation methods risk being labelled as opposed to sustainability itself. This dynamic silences potential critics who don't want to appear against environmental protection or poverty reduction. The philosophical positioning makes resistance seem not just impractical but morally questionable. The goals are so broadly desirable that questioning the methods becomes socially difficult. Agenda 2030 ultimately functions as the philosophical framework that makes technological control socially acceptable. It provides the moral justification for systems that would otherwise face widespread resistance. The sustainability narrative transforms surveillance from something threatening into something necessary for human survival. This allows the gradual implementation of control systems under the cover of environmental protection and social justice, making the technological and economic components appear not just acceptable, but essential for human progress. These three systems create a coordinated mechanism that functions through willing participation rather than force. The technological control appears as social improvement. The economic incentive masks as opportunity, and the philosophical framework disguises as moral necessity. People implement these systems believing they serve humanity while advancing structures that eliminate freedom. The most dangerous aspect isn't the obvious coercion, but the sincere conviction of those building the trap. Recognizing this coordination represents your first defense against it. Your awareness creates resistance, not through confrontation, but through conscious non-participation in systems that trade liberty for false security. If you want to see through the system, help us build a community of the aware. Like and subscribe to stay vigilant. Don't just watch, engage.